What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Julien Stoutt. Welcome back to the show. We're about to take off. Classes in session. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I've been keeping silent for the most part about this whole Jonathan Major saga, but now the verdict is in and he has been found guilty of 2 charges. But I'm going to point out 2 things in the process of showing you this issue at hand. Okay? First of all, let's start with the simple facts. Jonathan Majors, if he was in his mind guilty of doing anything, if he was a physical abuser, let's use our common sense. If I whooped a woman's behind and I'm known to be an abuser, like legit just beating you for no reason, there's nothing under the sun there's no consequences for my actions, or there is consequences for my actions, but there is no thought pattern of concern for the human being. What would happen? I'll be in trouble, right? I'll go to jail. I'll be worried about going to jail. So why would I call the police at any time while there are visible signs of injury that I know I caused? Let's start there. Let's answer that. All right. Secondly, if I were an abuser, would I call the police at all? Why would I call the police? She's laying in my house, blackout drunk, with injuries, laying in my closet, and I'm the person that did this to her, and I'm going to call the police. Make it make sense. He ran from her. She chased him for 8 city blocks. I don't know about you, but if you've been in Manhattan, 8 city blocks is no small jog in the park. That's a good run. That's a really good run. 8 city blocks. How many of y'all, my New York people, y'all know what 8 Manhattan city blocks looks like? For those of y'all who have ever been to New York City, who have traveled the blocks of Times Square or Rockefeller Center or even Fifth Avenue or Broadway, you know what 8 city blocks looks like. Who runs for 8 blocks to get away from somebody? Who chases somebody for 8 city blocks? Who then goes and then takes and goes to the club, parties all night, get drunk with randos, gets blackout drunk, and then, come on. This is a level of personal responsibility. Because of the actions of your significant other, you are going to pay for the crime. Your girlfriend is known to abuse alcohol. You tried to be forthright about it and try to honor and respect the relationship and try to work your way through it, hopefully getting to the other side because you believe that you see the positives of an individual. But lesson be known, when people have these types of flaws that don't align with your lifestyle, you got to let them go. I don't care how amazing they are. I don't care what juju they put on you. I don't care how dope the S game is. I don't care how much brain she gives you. I don't care when she gives you brain. Fellas, the name of the game, as far as your mindset, is to remain in control of yourself and remain in control of your urges to the point where you can stand back, look at things from a bird's eye view, and recognize that this is not healthy for you. It's going to seem very callous and cold, but get rid of them. If they're not lining up with the program, get rid of them. Because had he been in the position, had he not been in the position that he was in, would this even make news? Jonathan Majors has been in movie after movie after movie after movie, hit after hit after hit. The Harder They Fall, Creed 3, Loki, then Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Lovecraft Country. I mean, everything that man was touching was literally turning to fire. And as you make this ascent and as you mentally preparing for all that comes with this level of fame, you've got this anchor strapped around your neck and it ain't moving in your direction. It's either standing still or pulling you back. Fellas, I'm sorry. Take your emotions out of it. Don't care if this is the best girlfriend you've had. I don't care if it's the only girlfriend you've had. Let her go. If you married her, you should have known better. Because you should have seen the signs of that long before you even stepped foot into the church to marry her. Or any red flag, you got to let them go when you're on that path. As a matter of fact, any path. Because here's the worst part about it. The worst part about it is that no matter what job you have, it's your job. It's the most money you make, right? If it's the most money you make and it's your livelihood, if it's your lifestyle that they're playing with, let them go. I don't care if you work at Walmart. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you work at Long John Silver's. Let them go. Ladies, this applies to you too. Because at the end of the day, if your man is that dude, let him go. So I'm not going to belabor that point too much, but I'm about to get to the realities of the situation. Jonathan Majors basically fought to get his phone back. And when I say fought, I don't mean pummeled her within an inch of her life. Literally grappling and tussling with her to grab his phone and then proceed to get away from her. Now, for those of y'all who would turn around and say, why would you fight with her for your phone? It's a phone. Let it go. How many famous people are in his phone? You don't know who's in his contacts list. You don't know if she has access to his phone. You don't know if the phone was open when she took it. Clearly the phone was open when she took it because she started going off in the car. Because she saw something that she didn't like. She was attacking him. No self-respecting man is going to cover for an abuser like this. Just to say he was driving around Jonathan Majors. I'm pretty sure the driver's service picks up a lot of famous and rich people all the time. Jonathan Majors is not that important in the line of work that man was in to turn around and cover for him in that way. Okay, let's start with that. Number 2, being that she's known to abuse alcohol and she now has access to his phone and he left it with her, suppose she called Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Suppose she called Chris Rock. Suppose she called Michael B. Jordan. Suppose she called Oprah. I don't know who's in his phone. But Tyler Perry. Journey Smollett, who is one of his co-stars. I'm pretty sure they're in contact with each other somewhat. Suppose she just started drunk calling people and then saying the most lewd and lascivious things. Then what? Now everybody don't want to deal with him because you need to fix your house, bro, because lose my number. Would she be wrong? Would any of those people that are in his contacts, that are famous, high-level, high-stakes people that she could have called that night or give out phone numbers to random people to, oh, You're a fan of The Rock's? Well, here's his phone number. Oh, you're a fan of Michael B. Jordan? Here's his phone number. You're a fan of Idris Elba? Here's his phone number. Regina Regina King? Here's her phone number. You loved her in the Boondocks? Go ahead, tell her, text her, tell her how much you loved her in the Boondocks, because you got her number now. Do you know how much chaos you could cause with that? I don't know a lot of big time people, but the very few that I do know, if I have their number, I'm not giving it away because I'm violating the trust of those individuals when I do that. Just so you know. So no, we don't do that. But I'm belaboring my point again. So let's go share my screen and let's take a look. So here's what you see. Jury finds Jonathan Majors guilty of assault and harassment of ex-girlfriend. The jury found Majors guilty of assault in the 3rd degree and harassment in the 2nd degree, both misdemeanors. Now, I want you to see how they painted this picture. They basically made it seem like he's a woman beater. But let's see if NBC News is going to be responsible enough to actually state what it actually is. Okay, we're going to skip all this. By the way, Alvin Bragg, you're wrong for this. You're genuinely wrong for this because you just trying to get your name up. That's what you're doing. Because here it says, this is so funny. Committed to centering survivors in all of our work and thanked Grace Jabari for bravely telling her story despite having to relive her trauma on the stand. When she openly admitted in court that he's never put his hands on her before. Okay? Under oath, said he's never hit her before. And in this case, he didn't hit her. Okay? Let's keep it real. The evidence presented throughout this trial illustrated a cycle of psychological and emotional abuse. Yeah, okay. Escalating patterns of coercion, far too common across the many intimate partner violence cases we see every day, Bragg said in a statement. So, just so you know, Jonathan Majors got fired from Marvel. So, your hopes to seeing him as Kang the Conqueror is now over. Now they got to go figure out what they're going to do and rewrite the whole thing about what they were doing. So, Jabari testified that throughout their relationship, she was scared of Majors and also feared he would hurt himself if she left him. Really? When she was the one who sent the suicidal text messages to him that night. Amazing how that works. Majors has denied striking Jabari, and his lawyers contend that he was actually the victim and suffered scratches, which is true. So, in the opening statement, prosecutors said Majors slapped Jabari in the face and fractured the middle finger on one of her hands after she took his phone. First of all, let's start with that. You take my stuff. I can't get it back? Under no circumstances, I'm not supposed to get it back? Again, what if the information in my phone is so valuable or so personal that if any of this information gets out, it could cause problems with a lot of famous people and mess with my career that much more? Street surveillance footage from the night shows Jabari getting out of the SUV and Majors picking her up and putting her back into the car. Prosecutors claim the actor threw her back inside the vehicle like a football. Okay, she's getting out, being aggressive. He's trying to get away from her. He puts her back in the car because he can. He's physically capable of. If he was the beating type, right? What would happen? He would have been swinging on her. He pushed her in the car and ran. Okay? Major's attorney said Jabari went out dancing with strangers after the alleged abusive encounter. But Jabari claimed that she was seeking comfort by those who came to her aid on a street corner following the assault. But we're going to look at some video footage of that, and you're going to see for yourself what we're talking about. How did you... Okay, we're not even going to ask. Chaudhry has also suggested the fact that Majors is black and Jabari is white is the reason he and not she was arrested after the alleged altercation. I'm not going to go there too far. But we know the history of this country. We know how this works. Emmett Till, right? Just the mere notion of saying that you did something around a white woman might get you in trouble. Not to say that every white woman's like that, because we know that's not true. But in the fact that there are people like that, it happens. So, notice something. Do you notice something? NBC did not be specific about the charges. So now, let's look up the actual charges. Let's see if CNN was more responsible. Let's see if they were responsible. So let's see. Majors Rising Star, who has appeared in Disney Marvel franchise and Creed 3, was convicted on Monday of 1 count of reckless assault in the 3rd degree. I want you to see this. Reckless assault in the 3rd degree and non-criminal charge of harassment as a violation. CNN, good job. Because now you're being specific. We're going to go into the deep end of this in a minute. He was acquitted on another assault charge and 1 account of aggravated harassment. So another assault charge, but the assault charge was more malicious in intent when he, in terms of what he was acquitted of. So meaning, even though they assume that he may have assaulted her, they're not saying he did it with malicious intent. That's the other assault charge that he was being brought up on, that he was found innocent of. So meaning, if I got into an altercation, so let's say for instance, I get into an altercation with you, right? And let me move back out of here real fast so you can see my face. So let's say you got into an altercation with somebody. Somebody took your phone and you chased after them. And in the process of you chasing after them, you tackled them to the floor. And in the process of you tackling them to the floor to get your phone back, they bumped their head on the concrete, suffering a concussion. You can be charged with assault in the 3rd degree, and which would mean that, but the malicious intent, which would make that a 2nd degree or 1st degree charge, the malicious intent would then make it more serious. Because I intended to hurt you, whereas I just wanted to stop you from running. And then I hurt you in the process, not intentionally, but I still hurt you. Does that make sense? I want y'all to understand the difference. So what I'm going to do is we're going to Google what that means. Reckless assault in the 3rd degree in New York. Copy. I'm going to go to this bell curve. Paste that in. Okay. Actually, in New York. Okay. Recklessly causes physical injury to another person. So let's define reckless real fast. without thinking or caring about the consequences of an action. So you were reckless. You grab somebody. What is assault? Okay. We're going to get into it. Assault, make physical attack on. A physical attack, a concealed attempt to do something demanding. We're not using that one. In law, an act or criminal or tortice that threatens physical harm to a person, whether or not actual harm is done. Okay? So let's look at that real fast so you see it for yourself. We are right here. Right here. An act, criminal or tortice, meaning criminal or you lied on somebody, that it threatens physical harm to a person, whether or not actual harm is done. Okay? So that means I did something to you that threatened physical harm. But according to New York law, causes physical injury to another person recklessly with criminal negligence. He causes physical injury to another person by means of a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. Okay? So here we go. Let's look it up. Assault in the third degree is the lowest tier of assault charges. So that means if he was beating her, you wouldn't charge him with a third degree assault. It occurs when somebody inflicts physical injury or bodily impairment or substantial pain on another person. This injury can be intentionally inflicted, but it can also result from recklessness or criminal negligence, meaning he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't doing it on purpose, but he did it anyway. If that's what they're saying, but he did it. So let's say him pushing her back into the car did in fact injure her finger while he was taking his phone back. For the mere act that I took my phone back, if I hurt your finger, if I broke your finger, that is assault in the third degree. Obviously, if I'm punching you in the face till your eye swole shut, then we're talking about a different problem. I'm pretty sure it would not be an assault in the third degree. When the charge of assault in the third degree applies, someone can be charged with third degree assault when they intentionally inflict injury upon another person, meaning I punched you in the face. The injury needs to be somewhat substantial. But this charge is distinguished from higher tiers in part by the severity of the victim's injuries. So meaning a cut on the face, a broken nail that causes bleeding, a busted finger, busted knuckle, things of that nature. The law distinguishes between physical injury and serious physical injury. In addition, a person can be charged with third degree assault in New York State even if they don't intend to injure the victim. So meaning, I grabbed you. Again, the same analogy that I used before. I grabbed you and tried to stop you from running away. And in the process of stopping you from running away, our toes tangle up, our legs tangle up, we fall to the ground, you bump your head, you got a scratch on your forehead. Now I can be charged with assault in the third degree, regardless of the fact that you have my property in your possession, and that possession of that property can cause me great financial turmoil in the process. Meaning you have my personal property. Then on top of that, you took my credit card to various locations and ran up a tab. That's not stealing? Did I give you permission to go spend my money at wherever the hell you went that night? No. So that's stealing, right? Why isn't she being charged? Oh, because she's been through a lot. Really? A person is guilty of assault in the third degree when, with intent to cause physical injury to another person, he causes such injury. I don't know why they keep using he. They causes such injury to such a person to a third person, or they recklessly cause physical injury to another person, or with criminal negligence, they cause physical injury to another person by means of deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. Assault in the third degree is a Class A misdemeanor. Okay? So, again, NBC, you're wrong. You're foul for just leaving it at assault. That's not what happened. To the level that you're painting the picture. You're painting the picture as though he beat her. You didn't even say assault in the third degree. You just said assault. And leave it to the imaginations for other people to dig for the information to actually put out. So you're tarnishing this man's name for no reason at all. He's already been fired from Marvel. I'm pretty sure any of the projects he had up and coming in the very near future have dried up. All because the stigma of assault and harassment and leaving it in that picture, leaving it in that window is enough to destroy his career or destroy the momentum of his career. Guys, I'm going to land this plane. This message sincerely goes out to the fellas. This is a mindset issue. This is an accountability issue. And this is also an encouragement issue. So for the mindset, stop being desperate to be in contact with a female of a certain likeness. Stop worrying about how hot she might be. Stop worrying about how dope her body is, or how in shape she is, or how to put together she is. If she is really for you, she would never put you through any of this. Any of this. If she's really for you. Ladies, on the flip side, if he's for you, he would never put you through any of this. From the other end of the spectrum. Not from Jonathan Majors' end of the spectrum, but from the other end of the spectrum. If he's about that with you, he will not put you through that. But fellas, encouragement. You will find her. She may not be in your ideal, what's the factory settings? She may not be in the ideal factory settings, but you know what? She's better than this. She's better than the drama that comes along with dealing with all the nonsense that comes with it. Fellas, if you see your significant other going through whatever they're going through and it is going to cause you great toll on your livelihood and on your stress levels, let them go. I'd rather be alone than to be with somebody so chaotic. Plain and simple. I'd rather be alone than be with somebody that chaotic. Accountability. Had you cut her off, Jonathan Majors, at the knees a long time ago, when she started irking your nerves to the point where you have to send messages about how good of a man you are, had you cut her off then, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. Your career would be skyrocketing. You'd be in every Marvel franchise movie for the next 4 to 5 years. And nobody would have been able to do anything about it but you. Now, you're on the outside looking in, and people have closed their doors, whether just or unjust. I don't think it is, personally, but that's my opinion. What is a man to do in a situation like this? What is a man to do when people are violating them at every turn? I can't get my stuff back. If you leave, I lose half my stuff. If I even utter a hint of aggression because you are getting on my last nerves, I am the villain. I am the bully. I'm the bad guy. Never mind the fact that you've put your hands on me. Never mind the fact that you hit me. Never mind the fact that you took something that did not belong to you on 2 levels. Never mind the fact that you abuse alcohol. Never mind the fact that I have to clean up after you when you do abuse alcohol. Never mind the fact that I have to endure your foolishness. But I'm the bad guy because I got my phone back. And then I ran. And to get a head start, I pushed you back into the car. And you chased me for 8 New York City blocks. 8. Keep that in mind. Hopefully, this is a lesson to everybody so that you can be the best you. Appreciate your time. If you're already here for this whole entire time, go ahead and click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the all notification button so that you can get every bit of information that I put out. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.